Hey, I think a lot of you out there are probably already aware that this evening, Amy Coney Barrett is very likely to be confirmed to the Supreme Court. Now, there are a lot of people that are thrilled about this, and there are a lot of people that are just in anguish over this. They just think this is the worst thing that ever happened. And a lot of people have been asking me questions about, well, what do you think is going to be the effect of her being confirmed? Do you think she's going to be good for gun rights? Do you think she's going to be bad for gay rights, abortion rights, etc.? Well, I don't want to address every single topic that I think Amy Coney Barrett could rule on in the near future. I do want to say I think she will be very good for gun rights. But as far as the people, that love her or hate her, and people on both sides that are saying her being confirmed is going to cause a lot of problems. There's going to be a lot of unrest. There might even be, civil upheaval over some of the decisions she might make. And I wanted to say to those people, I disagree completely. I actually think that Amy Coney Barrett is not only going to be good for gun rights, she's going to be good for the country. And I know a lot of people out there have gotten to where they love to look at the negative. Like some people that are supporting Amy Coney Barrett, a big portion of them are like her because, she's going to own libs. And a lot of people on this side hate her because, she's evil and she'll appeal to those far-right assholes. It's just they always look at the negative of everything. They don't like to think positive anymore. But I'm thinking very positively about Amy Coney Barrett. Because I think in a country that is very divided over things that we shouldn't be divided over. Like I believe most people, if they were reasonable, sat down and talked about gun rights, they could understand that I guess it is important for people to be armed and not be, at the mercy of their government or local law enforcement. I think most people could agree that. We got people left of center buying guns at unusual rates now, extremely high rates. The gun community itself is missing out on that opportunity to reach out to them and try to focus on our common beliefs and their new realizations, instead focusing on divisions and name calling and blah, blah, blah. But they're buying guns. So I think most people can understand the importance of a gun to being safe and being free in a society. Just like I think most people, if they sat down and talked about abortion, I think they could all agree that, no one ever wants anyone to have to get an abortion. No one thinks anyone wants to get an abortion. And we would all love to see a world where abortions never happen. But the best way to get to that would be to where we don't have unwanted pregnancies. We don't have poor prenatal care to where babies are suffering in the womb, maybe becoming deformed, disfigured, whatever. Just all kinds of different things that we could try to do to make it to where we never had an abortion ever without making it to where like the government's going to take control of your uterus. I just think if we all sat down and decided on things, we would all agree on the vast majority of things. And even on the things we disagreed on, we could agree to disagree because it doesn't make a whole lot of difference. Like, I don't think there's anyone out there that thinks, we need to ravage the earth. That's the problem. We're not ravaging the earth enough. No one thinks that. We just have different ideas on what we need to do about saving our planet. If we sat down and talked to each other instead of trying to own each other, maybe we would make a change. But that's where I think Amy Coney Barrett's going to come in. Because I do believe she's going to be great for gun rights, and I think she's going to be good for some other things. And I'm not saying judges are solutions to anything, or judges that it's their job to make things better. It's just their job to determine what is constitutional, what is legal. That's it. What is unconstitutional, what is illegal. That's it. That's all they're supposed to do. So I believe she will do that. And in doing so, I firmly believe she will be one of the people that leads a charge of the Supreme Court to say the Second Amendment is inalienable, meaning the government has no say in it. They don't get to restrict who gets to do what. I believe that it's very possible that with her on the bench, we could end up where fights for gun rights is no longer a thing. Where we don't have to get out there and fight for gun rights and be angry and mad and divided and blah, 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 because it just won't be a thing anymore. Everyone will have to accept that, that's the way it is. Now, you'll have a small fringe that, that still cause troubles, But they'll be like the people that bomb abortion clinics or shoot abortion doctors. They'll be such a tiny minority that no one's really concerned about them in everyday life. So we'll be able to move on to other things, like maybe reaching out to people on the left that have become gun owners, etc. Now that we're no longer having to battle them on our rights, we can say, listen, now we want to educate you to why we were right all along and you were a little misguided, but now that you've come to the fold and bought guns, etc., let's actually all talk about the importance of them, blah, 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 and the importance of an armed community and a self-reliant community and blah, blah, blah. We can get past those differences, come together a little bit. And I think it can be in other things too, like abortion. A lot of people are like, oh my God, she's going to drag down abortion. Well, even if she did, let's say abortion disappeared tomorrow. Well, we'd still have problems with unwanted pregnancies, things like that. So maybe we'd all come together and have a discussion about, well, how do we just actually stop the unwanted pregnancies? How do we get people educated? How do we provide them with medical care? How do we provide them with the means to not become pregnant? Not just don't have sex, just not that knowledge, just like condoms, birth control, things like that for people who don't want to have a baby. That would be a real solution, don't you think? An abortion's always going to be around as a medical procedure to save a mother. That's just always going to be a thing. Like if the pregnancy is going to kill the mother, abortion's going to be an option medically forever. But just, I don't want to say the word casual, but elective abortions. If we could take care of unwanted pregnancies, elective abortions wouldn't be a thing anymore. Even if it was just, the Plan B pill. I call it Plan A for a lot of people. But like I said, if she did strike down abortion, here we go. We got to actually get together and make real decisions. Same thing with, like I said, gun rights. Because if she did say, they're indisputable, can't pass any laws restricting gun rights, well, people are like, that just means people are just going to die and people are going to be shot all over the place and blah, blah, blah. Well, no, why does it have to mean that? Why are you so negative? It could mean, hey, the Constitution is the Constitution and the Second Amendment is adamant that we can't have our gun rights infringed. So now, if we want to save lives, we have to do it in a different way. Because the way you're trying by banning guns doesn't work. It's been shown not to work at all. So let's deal with the real problems, the things that actually cause violence and murder, etc. Let's deal with poverty. Let's deal with inequality. Let's deal with education. Let's deal with all these things that make a certain group of people disenfranchised to where they don't even have a chance. Let's deal with those things. And I'm not just talking black people. Black people aren't the only disenfranchised people in this country. Poor white kid born in a trailer park in West Virginia has about as much prospects as someone who's born poor and black in the ghetto these days. And that's why a lot of the white people get upset when it seems like sometimes people pretend that the only people that are put upon are blacks and Hispanics. Poor white people are put upon too. And ignoring them just makes them angry, and justifiably in some cases. So if we actually, like I said, took the guns away, we have to start talking about, well, why do people commit violence? Why do they choose guns? Why did they do this? How can we prevent the actual situation that caused the violence? Like if more people had marriage counseling available to them that was affordable, or maybe even provided free by a local organization or something, we wouldn't have as many people killing their wives, etc. If we looked at our institutions of marriage, and I know this is going to make a lot of people mad. A lot of people see marriage once they get into it, and if they're not happy, they see it as a cage they're stuck in. And they get frustrated and angry, and a lot of these are pretty unscrupulous people who the negative aspects of their personality are amplified by the fact that they now feel trapped, and that ends up in violence. Maybe we need to look at the way we do handle marriage and divorce, etc. in this country. There's just all kinds of other things we could look at that could actually make a difference. We know gun laws don't make a difference. So why keep beating that drum? If we don't have to spend all of our energy fighting over whether we can or can't have guns, if it's just like, hey, any firearm or ordnance that's available to any standard infantry member of the military or the National Guard, etc., is also available to citizens. Anything the police can have, citizens can have. If we had laws like that and we didn't have to waste our time fighting each other on stuff like that, maybe we could come up with solutions Things that actually, offered children more opportunities, offered inner city people more opportunity, offered the poor white rural people more opportunity, then we would actually see big changes in violence. That's when we've seen the biggest declines in violence, when people started having the ability to have more and have more chance to do things. So if we continued that trend, maybe we would reduce violence dramatically without having to worry about guns, especially if guns were off the table now. They weren't touchable. So I think I've made my point here with this video. To all the people out there that are screaming like, yeah, she's going to own the libs. I don't think she's going to own the libs. I think she's just going to make some decisions. And for all the people like, oh my God, she's going to destroy the country. She's not going to destroy the country. She's just going to say these things are right. These things are wrong. These things are legal. These things are illegal. These things are constitutional. These things are unconstitutional. And then it'll be up to us to say, well, I guess we need to stop fighting these petty, stupid battles anymore and deal with real issues and figure out how we can really make changes in this country and maybe come together on the things that we agree on instead of focusing on the things we disagree on. Because as Americans, I believe we agree on 7 out of 10 things every time. So instead of focusing on the 3 we disagree on, let's focus on the 7 we do and then work on the 3 we don't. Without these stupid battles where people try to deprive other people of freedom or equality for the sake of, what they consider a free and safe society. And you don't really have that. Can't be a thing, free and safe. They don't go together. It's like a lot of times when they justify gun laws, they say, well, we're violating the Second Amendment, but we're doing so for the sake of, safety for the community, for community safety standards. Well, that's not what the Constitution was designed for. It wasn't designed to do what's safe for the community. It was designed to say what rights people should have no matter what. Because it would be, and Amy Coney Barret, I don't think, agrees with that. She's going to say, well, we don't get to say it's public safety that overrules the Constitution. The Constitution overrules public safety. It would be real easy to say, oh, it would be a lot safer in society if people weren't allowed to protest or people weren't allowed to speak their mind, especially not on the internet where other people can hear it. When's the last time you heard someone say, well, the founding fathers didn't know of the internet when they said we had free speech, so now that we have the internet, we need to get rid of free speech. You just don't see it, but you see that with guns all the time. And I don't think Amy Coney Barrett will do that. That's why I think she would be good for this country. She will just decide on what's constitutional. And then the actual problems we'll have to get together. If they strike down Obamacare, well, then we'll have to come up with something better, which wouldn't be hard to come up with something better if they worked together. If they let it stand, well, then maybe they'll come together and fix it. Like I said, I don't think Amy Coney Barrett in any way is going to destroy America. I think that's all propaganda and fear-mongering and garbage that we see so much from both sides. In fact, I think when you sit down and when you look at what might come of the decisions from the Supreme Court that might be likely with her there, not only will they not destroy America, they might be the first step on a long path to saving America. Hey, this is the Yankee Marshal just reminding everyone out there that if you disagree with anything I say in any one of my videos, be it something political or tactical, I am going to give you the opportunity to come talk to me face to face instead of just having to put stuff in comment sections where someone might not even read them. You can come in one of my live chats and tell me off in person. You just have to send an email to shootingleftofcenter@gmail.com, and in the subject line of that video put slap the yank, and then I will get back with you and set up a time where you can come in one of the live chats and tell me off face to face.